What's up, everyone? Thanks for coming by Crypto Capital Venture. We know that nobody knows what direction Bitcoin is going to go into next, but in this video, I want to break down the bullish scenario. Bitcoin entering the bull market, charging towards the bull market sooner than later. I'm going to break it down on the charts, what it might look like from a macro to micro perspective. What is up, everyone? Don't forget to hit that subscribe on your way in, hit that like, and turn the notification bells on. I appreciate you coming by. This is a Bitcoin video. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. I tweeted this a little bit, or actually this was yesterday. I said, I'm choosing to consider this a Bitcoin symmetrical triangle with a breakout target of 11K or 8K. Those are the two targets, everybody. That's what the charts say. Don't look at me. I have no control over that. That's the data. I'm patiently prepared for both scenarios. And isn't that the key here? Isn't that the key of these videos? Isn't that the key of technical analysis? Not to predict what's going to happen, but to be prepared for every single possible scenario so that you can make the best and wisest decisions. And these are the two scenarios, 11K, 8K. And in these scenarios, we may find confirmation to make a move, depending on what you want to do. Let's do this. Let's break it down. So I said I'm going to look at the macro to micro perspective. So really, all I'm doing here on the charts, I'm starting on the weekly, zoomed out. I'm going to kind of like reverse engineer the charts. What does Bitcoin need to do to get to the bull market? First off, just so that we can define bull market, let's do this. If you've been watching my channel, you know what I'm about to do. It's the bull market high of 2017 to the bear market low in 2018. The bull market doors for this next cycle lie within the Fibonacci retracement, this 786 to 618 green rectangle that you see on the screen. It's like $13,000 to $16,000. So that is it. That's what we're hoping to charge towards. We have to break that area to enter the bull market. Once we do, that is confirmation, at least from my technical analysis perspective. So that's that. That's what we're looking to charge towards. Now, in charging towards that, you can see we have this huge symmetrical triangle that we have. We've been talking about this on the channel. We're not quite to 73% yet to the apex of the triangle. That's kind of the number that we use. It's based off Bolkowski and his technical analysis. It's the average of breakouts of symmetrical triangles, and it can happen sooner, it can happen later, but this is what needs to happen to enter a bull market, a breakout out of this triangle. So we are waiting to see. Now, I said I'm going to reverse engineer the charts. This Bitcoin doing this, right? We have a breakout target of this triangle to like right around $90,000. $90,000. Many people talking about $100,000, the next bull market high, all-time high, before it kind of retraces again in this next cycle. Nobody knows what's going to happen, but isn't it interesting? We have a target up around that area. And if we break that down and we look at what happened historically in the past, Bitcoin was in a similar type of triangle, depending how you chart it, back in the last bull market cycle, or right before the bull market cycle. That was the last bull market high, right, in 2013 to the bear market low in 2015, and it broke out to a new all-time high, $20,000. So could history be repeating itself? Potentially. We keep an eye on it, we can track it, but you can see the similarities on the charts if you look at just the two cycles alone. Now, let's continue to break this down. One thing before we get out of the weekly chart, this is still the weekly, I want to break this down. The one thing that can lead us to have any even type of short-term bullish outlook is this. When Bitcoin entered the bull market out of 2015, right, into the 2017 high, there was a line on this RSI on the weekly, a very critical line, and it sat right around 50 to 52 or so. You can see it in the middle of my screen. It's that yellow line. It was kind of this area where Bitcoin would always consolidate down to in its higher highs and higher lows in that bull market run, right? So this is that parabolic gain that Bitcoin saw. And along the way, you saw these dips, right? 30% dips, I think 40% dips, and they happened every 2-3 months or so. And when those happened, Bitcoin came and revisited this line. That's a critical data point I think that we should use on this weekly chart. And you can see Bitcoin currently trading very sideways after this last Bitcoin halving, but currently sitting around that line. So a bounce in the near term off of this line could send Bitcoin to a nice gain, right? So now let's start breaking this down. So first off, this is zoomed out weekly 2017, that swing high all the way back there. And now we're going to go to the daily charts, and we have another symmetrical triangle. This is the one I tweeted about. I said I'm looking at this symmetrical triangle. I'm deciding to call it a symmetrical triangle. 11K breakout. It's actually more than 11K. 8K breakout to the downside. It's lower than 8K, but I rounded it up. So this is what the chart looks like. And this is the reverse engineering, right? Because we want to get through the longer term symmetrical triangle to the upside, and that's like sitting up here around 10,800. If we want to get there, we have to break through this symmetrical triangle, which we're trading at the lower trend line right now. We're getting close to the apex. So on the short term, this could be the case for Bitcoin to make a run, right? Bullish target 11,000 plus. You see it here out of the symmetrical triangle. We would clearly be breaking this white trend line, which if we zoom out on this daily chart, that's that epic looking symmetrical triangle that we're talking about that extends to 2017. So reverse engineering these patterns, we see that this would be the path, Bitcoin to break out of the current symmetrical triangle that it's trading in. I'll probably get comments, Dan, back on June 1st, June 2nd, what about those candles? No technical analysis is perfect, especially when you have the volatility of something like Bitcoin. But I'm choosing to really look at just this downward momentum on this upper trend line of lower highs, I think is pretty clear, and upward momentum on the lower trend line of higher lows. It's, to me, a symmetrical triangle. So I'm charting it, I'm watching it. Let's see what happens. Could we break down to the downside? Absolutely. That would be a bearish scenario. That is not what this video is about. So now what are we looking at? How can we get to that upper trend line? We're talking like $9,700, $9,800 or so to even get a breakout out of this symmetrical triangle. That's the first step, right? To kind of enter into this environment where Bitcoin might enter the bull market, right? And break this huge white trend line up here. Well, we can break it down even more on the micro level. So looking at this symmetrical triangle, there's a lot going on in here, right? There's other stuff going on in here on the shorter term, and I don't always chart short term, but this is what it looks like. We have potential ascending triangle in play within this symmetrical triangle. So if we want to see the path starting on a 6-hour chart for Bitcoin to trek its way up to this white trend line and break out of that huge symmetrical triangle, it really kind of starts right here on this very zoomed in 6-hour chart, a potential ascending triangle. We're looking to get at least one touch here to the upside, right around $9,200 right now. That's not far. It's like $150 away or so. Could Bitcoin make a move in the next day or so? Absolutely. It could happen in minutes. It's not that far to the upside. And the breakout target for this is right around $9,700, $9,700, $9,800. And if we zoom out on the chart, we know that's the upper trend line of the symmetrical triangle, the one that I tweeted about. So this is the path. It all starts on this little ascending triangle that is within this larger symmetrical triangle. And this is what I'm watching. This is what I go in. I watch the charts. When Bitcoin's consolidating and it's kind of forming patterns like this, I'm not doing videos every day because it's so much just to keep repeating. I think that would get boring for you, and I'm not going to hype up the charts. Right now, Bitcoin's just doing its thing, consolidating. Altcoins have been kind of a little more interesting as of lately. I'm sure you could all agree, but I wanted to do this Bitcoin update for you and really break it down, and that's the path. Everybody, if we look at that now, how we reverse engineered, it would be a breakout out of the ascending triangle to a breakout target $9,700. And then from that 9,700, Bitcoin would bullishly break. This is a bullish scenario, right? I'm not predicting and saying it's going to happen. Bitcoin would break this trend line, this orange trend line in the symmetrical triangle. It would break up through the symmetrical triangle, maybe see some resistance up here at this longer term white trend line, come back down, touch the triangle, right? And then finally hit its target to the upside. This could be sometime in July. It could be in August. This takes a while to play out when things like this happen. And then Bitcoin's breaking that upper trend line finally of this very long symmetrical triangle, long-term symmetrical triangle. This is on a 6-hour chart. I'm trying to zoom out here, but there it is. getting close to 73% to the apex of that huge triangle, and then Bitcoin maybe see support, trickles down, maybe we're in fall, and Bitcoin's still in this consolidation pattern, maybe, and then it breaks out. That's a scenario, potential scenario. Just throwing it out there. Could happen sooner, could happen later, but always keep in mind the downward potential as well. This 50-week moving average potentially breaking. We break to the downside. We hit this lower trend line. That's a whole nother scenario. Not going to get into it in this video, maybe in another. That's it. I hope you're enjoying your Friday. I hope you had an awesome week. Hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Hit the like button on your way out if you're still here watching. I appreciate you watching this whole video. That's crazy. I will see you in the next video. Have an awesome day, and God bless.